Awesome. So looks like we're recording now, and looks like LinkedIn is getting the feed for our live stream, and looks like Facebook is also getting it now, which is exciting. And finally, we are on YouTube as well. Very
Hey.
excited to have this conversation today and really discuss, say, topics that may not be very talked about sometimes, but are just still very, very important for every person in marketing, or just really for any type of professional for that matter. Give a proper introduction to our guest today. I really want to say, or just like take the time to say that our guest is a true marketer at heart, very passionate individual about what needs to be done to build a business. She has years of expertise in the marketing world, a go-getter personality to relate to and apply business strategies across many businesses and industries. She is very passionate and pretty much in love with the small business community, and that's reflected in the work that she does. Very smart and professional marketer. I just want to give a big drum roll to our guest today. For everyone listening, please help me welcome Amy. I want to make sure I say it right.
Hager.
Amy Hager.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome.
That was a nice intro. I don't know if I've ever gotten such a nice intro. Like, I feel like a superstar or something.
Well, maybe it's because you are. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm glad that you like that, and it's just part of the introduction, just part of really showing what our guests have to bring to the table, and just having a really nice conversation, right? So, I already said enough. Maybe it would be awesome to hear from you. Maybe I missed. I mean, I definitely missed something, but something you would like to share with the audience.
Yeah,
Introduce your.
so I think what we were just kind of mentioning this before we hit go is, I've been a marketer. I've been in marketing a really, really long time. I basically had my first business when I was a child, and I used to race stock cars. So I'd always have to get sponsors to
Wow.
like pay for my race car. And so when I think about the two key things that really have shown through my entire career, whether I'm helping someone start a bed and breakfast here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, or working with, a construction professional who has a national construction, company. One
Right.
thing that I find really helpful for business owners to really focus on is building that community. I'm always building a community everywhere I go. And, that collaboration is really key. We're really not in this world alone. Doing silos in your business is probably not helpful. And really, more recently, I've really uncovered this, making sure that you're marketing and speaking about your business from a place of joy, and not as
Right.
much of a, "Oh, this is a chore, this is something I have to do, this is my most hated thing in my business." And so approaching it and
More
finding
than
it.
accounting.
Yes, more than accounting, which is
Please
crazy because I
no.
love numbers. I'm horrible at math though. So yeah, but just approaching and looking and uncovering what is joyful for you when you're talking about your business, how you talk about your business, and how you really lead with your thought leadership. And working from that place, instead of I have to be everywhere, I have to do all the things, and I have to speak and I'm scared to speak, and I have to write but I'm a horrible writer, I have to draw but I'm horrible at art. Finding what's joyful for you and really tapping into that piece is just going to let things shift and shine for you so differently in your business.
I agree, and I believe that's an approach that we should all take in different aspects of our lives. So let's put our hands together, our audience, for that's amazing.
Love the sound of
Yeah, we have quite a crowd. Now, what I think we should start with the basics, right? A lot of people
Yeah.
may be wondering this. What is joy? How would you define joy in your, like, for you? What is it?
Yeah. So, when you are waking up and excited about what you have ahead of you in your day, you're excited to be talking about how you're making an impact on the lives that you're helping. When you think about when we do business, we're not usually doing business with robots. There's real people on the other
Mhm.
end. And so when you think about how your product, how your service, how what you offer in this world can improve somebody's life. Again, when you're thinking, if we go back to the example that I said earlier, like a bed and breakfast, they are really creating that experience of someone getting away from their day to day, from the busyness, and really being able to decompress and maybe not have to think about what they're making for breakfast that day. That's why they're going to a bed and breakfast. Or that construction company who is building the school for the children in the community. Like, how amazing is it going to be for those kids to be able to go to school and grow and learn in this building? Or if you're a coach and consultant, those individual impacts that we have on people's lives to really help them uncover what is going on in their world, what's their next best steps. So when you're coming from that place of joy and thinking about the work you do in a more joyful way, and then thinking about how you talk and market and promote and sell your offers in a more joyful way, it's just a completely different spin and take on it than the dread of, oh, I have to do this. This is such a chore. But I think really makes it work is experimenting and finding what you enjoy in your business and really leveraging then what is joyful to you. So maybe a great example of this is, I speak to a lot of people who love to be live in person, who love to be speaking from a stage, who love to go on camera like this and have a conversation with people. Clearly, that's what I like to do, right? And so when I talk about my business, I am so much more animated and joyful and really loving it when I'm doing it live. If you ask me to write a book about marketing, about posting on social media, about creating websites and videos, I'm going to pull my hair out and I'm going to procrastinate and I'm not going to want to write that book because writing isn't joyful for me. And so when I am producing content and really being the thought leader that I like to be in the marketing hemisphere, I'm doing it mostly by live conversation and by having a group of people in front of me, whether it's on Zoom or on stage or at a retreat, and really helping that way. I'm not going to go write a book and be an Amazon bestseller. And I've just accepted that. And ever since I've accepted about doing what I enjoy and how I enjoy talking about my business, really has changed a lot for me.
Right. So does this have to do with changing your perspective on things? Because I believe, we all know there is always going to just don't give us joy, right? That we do them. What about that? So is it about avoiding what doesn't give you joy, or is it about jumping into switching your perspective?
I want to say it's a little bit of both, right? So when you evaluate all the tasks and all the things that you do in your day to day as a CEO, as a business owner, um, if there are things on that list that aren't enjoyable that you just absolutely dread, one, are you approaching it? I hate to say wrong, but are you approaching it wrong? Is there a way to do it different? Is there a way to go about it differently? And two, if not, like absolutely no way, this cannot shift, this cannot change, are you the right person to be doing that thing? Is it better to have someone else on your team, someone else who's, you know, an assistant, a C level, a consultant, someone that you bring in? Because when we really are in our zone of genius and operating from that place of joy, that's really when we have that space to grow our business, to think creatively, and to really thrive. And so if you're really suppressing that and doing things that you're not enjoying and you haven't taken a look at, it's almost like taking stock, right? Should I be doing this? All right, yes, I should be. Am I doing it in the most joyful way? Am I doing it in the way that I love? Do I even know what I love? And sometimes that playful experimenting comes into play to figure out, what do I enjoy? And that's okay if you don't know. But if you know that you're dreading something, you know that you're putting something off, and you know that you absolutely hate it, it's time to pause and take stock on it and see, how can you change and shift in order to either one, enjoy it, two, delegate it, or three, is it something that actually needs to be done? There's also those shiny squirrels that we get distracted by, and maybe it's not something that we need to be doing. So sometimes it's a pause.
So pausing, really looking at what you're doing, how you're doing it, and the kind of energy that you're bringing to the table, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not even that it needs to be like, I'm a pretty high energy person. I know there's a lot of introverts
Mhm.
out there. It's not even that the energy needs to be high and bubbly and smiley. Sometimes it is that deep, soulful in your heart energy of, or even in your gut. Does this feel right to me? Does this sit right with me? And again, asking, is this what I should be spending my time on? Is this what I really enjoy spending my time on? Is this what I really enjoy doing? And if not, can it shift?
Right. Now, there is this notion, I mean, what you kind of talk about a lot, which is joy when it comes to marketing, and I think we're gonna get to that in a moment. But before that, I would like to maybe look at the marketing side first. So maybe we
Yeah.
just discussed joy a little bit, maybe explore a little bit on the marketing side as well. So when it comes to doing all the work that you have to do and that people have to do in any area of their life, and you're doing something that brings take energy away from you,
I mean, I think,
give you energy.
yeah, I think that, and again, hopefully I'm understanding your question right. So I think when you're doing the things that you don't enjoy, yes, it is taking your energy, it is sucking your energy. And so, is it an energy suck? I think is your question. Uncovering what joy is to you and finding that joyful thing. Not gonna lie, sometimes it might be. And it's not like it's gonna be waving a magic wand. What works for me may not work for you. And so when you are on this path of really uncovering what is joyful in your business, what isn't joyful in your business and in your life, because when you're a business owner and a CEO, really it's all combined. There's not a, here's
You
the
are the
line, here's
business.
Amy business and Amy life, right? And so I think that's why it's important to have support and help, either in a coach or a community, as you're going down this path, because I don't think it's something that just is, it comes so easily to everybody. It's not going to be easy for someone to say, all right, I know this is unjoyful, but what do I do about it? That what do I do about it is really good, is where people get hung up on. And it's, oh, I feel like I've tried this before, or I've done that before. I've posted every day on social media and I absolutely hate it. Well, sometimes it's looking at, what did you post? How did you post it? And was the messaging actually like spot on? Like, right? Was that really from your heart and soul, or was it something you pulled out of a book? And so again, looking at creating from the heart, creating from the soul, and really
Right.
talking about what you do in such a different way.
Exactly. And so this is telling us that posting a daily picture of your breakfast is not gonna make it,
Unless
right?
you are bed and breakfast, then you should be posting your breakfast daily. But it's, even if you want to post about your breakfast, why are you posting about that? You can have super fun, just tongue in cheek. This is my life. I love food. And so I do frequently post about food. But also, sometimes it is, man, what was I thinking about over breakfast? And especially if you are a coach or a consultant or a thought leader, like one of the favorite playful experiments that we do is literally like taking your phone, scrolling through your photos, randomly picking one, and then being able to tell a story about it and tying that
Mm,
story then to
right.
how you help and how you serve. And so it's a fun exercise to do to start playfully experimenting with if you do love taking photos, how can we tie those to your business? And I think the other thing too is it's like people are like, oh, I need to sit down and really do my marketing. No, it can literally be at your fingertips with your phone. And it doesn't have to be this really stressful, heavy thing that you have to do. How can we make it fun? How can we parallel it with what you're doing throughout your day and really look at how does it work with your life? Because you shouldn't have to stop to market your business. You should be able to market your business while doing business.
Absolutely. It's in your business is the moment you stop getting it's coming start losing money, and money, as we know, is the oxygen for the business. And so, yeah,
Yes.
I think like it's just the way it's said a lot. Um, it's not about, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It just has to
Oh, yeah.
work.
Well, and I think that's the other thing too of is it ever going to be perfect? And so when you get that out of your mind of it doesn't need to be perfect. We're all human. Yes, I want things to go out without spelling errors and man, I really hope the right words come out of my mouth, but it always doesn't happen. And so just being accepting of yeah, it's going to happen that way, but also knowing that you can go back and click the edit button. It's okay to adjust that word. It's not the end of the world if it goes out, with a misspelling or if something does go out and it flops. I think what's key is to be able to look back at it and be like, well, why didn't this work? And knowing that, again, marketing is a playful experiment and it's not going to always be the thing that gets a million views or a million likes or the engagement conversations in the comments or the DMs or the replies from your email. But taking that pause when it's not working and trying to figure out why isn't it working. Again, going back, was it actually enjoyable? Did I enjoy creating this content? Is the first thing that I would be asking myself. And if the answer is no, ask yourself what would you enjoy to do? How do you most enjoy talking about your business?
I love that concept of marketing has to be playful or marketing being a playful activity. I believe it makes a lot of sense because really it's all about running tests too. I mean, maybe a lot of business owners don't know this, but it really is about running tests, right? And
Mhm.
running this campaign, setting up this landing page compared to this other one, seeing which one performs better, right? So I think if you look at it that way, it
Mhm.
changes a lot of the feeling that we add to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And when you say test, it's not like that test that we would sit down and fill in the bubbles in school, right? Like the ACTs or whatever. It really is like, oh, let's take this thought and this thought. So A and B. And let's run with both of them. Let's test both of them. Let's see what gets more engagement, what gets the replies, what gets the people answering the question. Right now, we're teaching hand raiser campaigns in our creative content club. And part of creating hand raiser campaigns is when you sit down to write your questions to post to engage with your audience, you write down all of them that flood into your brain. Don't force yourself to just write the one, the perfect one. Write all of them down. So that way you have choices. You have A, B, maybe even C to go out and test and see what really works. And enjoy being in that playful place. When we think about it, it has to be right. It has to get me all of the people in one shot. That's where all that stress and that chore feeling just kind of comes about when it comes to marketing. Oh, did we lose you? I think we lost him. Okay, I cannot hear you, nor can I see you. We are not for sure what's happening. And so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of talk a little bit more. And maybe, Sergio, you can get back on. I don't know for sure. But when we think about joyful marketing and really looking at our businesses, I think I've said it and I want to just kind of reiterate kind of what to think through. If your marketing isn't landing, one, ask yourself, did I enjoy it when I was actually creating it? And if not, that energy could totally be part of what's going on. The next thing is making sure that you have a couple things to play with and try. It doesn't need to be perfect going out there. So, testing out that messaging. And then the last thing is when you're doing your messaging and you're sending it out into the world, think about your follow up. So, marketing is really how people are learning, right, about what we do and a way for them to experience us. It's going to flow right into that sales conversation. And that's what sales is. Sales is a conversation, not a presentation. And so you want to make sure that those who are engaging with you, those who are curious about what you do, those who are following and loving what you're doing, strike up a conversation, get to know them better, build those relationships, and really build that community. And if those listening today are thinking, man, I don't even know where to start, I don't know what questions to ask, I'm not even for sure if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, we do have a business expansion scorecard that you can use to kind of help yourself think through this and think through the joys of business. And so rating like, your positioning, your offer, your selling, your marketing. And if things are really joyful and you're like, yeah, all right, that's great. It may be then that the messaging is off. Maybe it isn't talking to ideal clients. It's too broad, so people can't raise their hand and say, "Hey, that's me. That's me. You're talking to me." So if any of you who are listening are interested in our business expansion scorecard, I'll make sure that we come back and share that link here. But there's some really good questions there to kind of rate the things that are going on in your head and going on with joy. All right, so well, we still don't have Sergio, and that is basically all that I have to really talk about today. And we are going to share that link in the show notes, so that is awesome. I will go ahead and wrap this up if that's okay with you. Awesome. There's a little chat thing on this platform that we're using today. So at least we can kind of communicate there. So thank you all for listening and who joined us today, for really letting us get through this technology glitch. But also, I really want to challenge you to really think about what is enjoyable in your business, what isn't, and how can we kind of either bring it over to the joy side or evaluate and decide if it's really something you should be doing, should you be delegating it, or how can we be doing it differently. And we'll be posting the link to the business expansion scorecard as well. So thank you all for joining us today. And if you need anything, you can find me, Amy Hager, on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I am happy to chat more about joyfully building your business. So bye-bye. Have a great day.